What's going on, everyone? I know I can't be the only person asking this question or wondering the answer is what happened to Scottie Pippen Jr.? So he was on the Summer League team and saw zero play. Okay, fine. You're trying to see Shafino. Shafino's your big draft pick acquisition, your 17th pick. You want him to see the show. You want to see what he's capable of and what he can do. You haven't really gotten good look at him as opposed to Scottie Pippen Jr., who, you saw him in some games in the regular NBA season, but also in the G League, right, with the South Bay Lakers. So you have an idea of the style and play that Scottie Pippen Jr. could give. All right, no problem. I get it. Sure. But we haven't heard really anything. So he's not on a two-way anymore. Our three two-ways were Cole Schwider, right, Demoy Hodge, and Colin Castleton. So if a team wanted to, a team could absolutely just come in and scoop up Scottie Pippen Jr. I don't know if that would happen, but it is very possible, right? I mean, he's 22 years old, so he's still very young. He's 6'1", so he's not like this huge, tall, 6'4" point guard or anything like that. But he was very solid in the G League. He's coming off of a really good year in which he averaged 22.5 points, 5.5 assists, and 3.5 rebounds. So he's a guy that was nearly a 23, 5-5 guy. Like, that's good. I mean, it's the G League, obviously, so you can't add that in comparison to the NBA and what he would do on the Lakers. But as like your third point guard, I don't think he would be that bad of an option. I don't think he'd be that bad of a choice, right? Because, look, you look at the Lakers roster. Lakers obviously need a center. Looks like it might be Christian Wood. We'll see. Time will tell. But if you get a center, you still have that open roster spot, right? You still have your 15th roster spot. You kind of survey the landscape, and you can make an argument for another center, obviously, getting a veteran guy, especially if Christian Wood, he's more of a 4 than a 5. But you have Jackson Hayes, you're probably going to lean heavily on him. You have Christian Wood, you have Anthony Davis. But, okay, if you wanted to maybe bring in a Colin Castleton and move Scottie Pippen Jr. back to a two-way or something, right? Cool, no problem. The other option is, like, you look at the roster and you go, okay, well, they could use a shooting guard, right? You got Austin Reeves, and then you got Max Christie, and then that's basically it, right? Now, you could move Taurean Prince to the 2. You got Maxwell Lewis. D'Angelo Russell is more than capable of playing the 2 guard with his ability to play off the ball and shoot, so you could have him, and he's also 6'5" in height, so it's not like he'd be an undersized 2 guard. If you wanted to go a little undersized, you could always just use Gabe Vincent. Okay, fine. The other option, I guess, would be point guard, right? Because the only point guards we have on the Lakers roster outside of Shafino, but Shafino's more of a combo guard than like a point guard, and he has like 0 NBA experience so far, right? You only have D'Lo and Gabe Vincent. Now, obviously, Shafino is 6'6", so him as your backup point guard, and plus he showed some real nice flashes in Summer League. But Scottie Pippen Jr., I don't think, I mean, the Lakers and the development team and the G League and all that stuff, they would know better than we would. But like Scottie Pippen Jr. looks like he could be a very solid backup point guard. I don't think he's like a starting level point guard, but as like your third point guard off the bench, I don't think is the biggest thing in the world. Now, there's not like a huge need for it. Like, I'm not saying that the Lakers have to go and sign Scottie Pippen Jr. with that 15th roster spot. You got to make it happen. No, nothing like that. Right? Because also the Lakers want to play Austin Reeves at the point guard more. They want to kind of allow him to have more ball handling duties. I actually think that that's for the future. I actually think that they want to mold Austin Reeves into a point guard so that way he can be the starting point guard, because Max Christie, if he continues to develop and come along, then I think our starting front court of the future will be Austin Reeves and Max Christie. That's my thoughts. That's what I think is very likely the case and scenario. And Austin Reeves is more than capable of doing that. I mean, he was playing point guard in the playoffs at times. Handling the ball at point guard at times. He also played point guard in college, played point guard in high school. So he's a guy that is more than capable of playing the point guard position. But Scottie Pippen Jr., it's like, you have time to develop him. He's only 22 years old. So there's not like this rush of like, he's 27. If we're ever going to give him a shot, now's the time. Like, no, you could ease him into it. You could still develop him for another 3 years and he's 25 and ready to go. But I just, is it the worst thing in the world to give him a shot? Right? Like the reason I'm reluctant to bring in like a Colin Castleton or a Demoy Hodge is because if like, and I guess there's the same argument for Scottie Pippen Jr., but I would rather not run the risk of losing Demoy Hodge or Colin Castleton. But like if you bring in one of the two-way guys outside of Cole Schwider, if you bring in Hodge or you bring in Castleton, and somebody in the buyout market that is really good becomes available, think of Markieff Morris type thing, Andre Drummond, right? Although that didn't work out as well, but still, you get my point. Big name that could help the Lakers roster. Like, if that ends up becoming a thing, then you basically miss out on him because you're not going to release and let go of Hodge or Castleton to go and sign that because they're pieces that you like for your future, for your long term. And other teams would swoop those guys up in a second. Scottie Pippen Jr., though, I mean, you could bring him up to the roster. Worst case scenario, you waive him, and then, if he gets picked up, it's not the end of the world. But if he doesn't, then you just go back to the G League team. Cool, right? Because, right now a team could pick him up. Right? Like, Scottie Pippen Jr. right the second could get a phone call saying, hey, like, we're bringing you on the roster. So there's not, like, the risk that you have with, like, a Hodge or a Castleton. So I guess maybe the argument isn't the same, or it is, but it's not as, like, potential disastrous as it could be. So, I don't know. I mean, do you bring in Scottie Pippen Jr. and kind of allow him to, he's probably not going to see the floor much, but, spot minutes here and there. Obviously you're probably bringing him up if say like a D'Lo or something, right, goes. But then again, you do have Shafino. But again, he's more of a combo guard, right? I don't know. I really like Scottie Pippen. Like, I was pumped when the Lakers got Scottie Pippen Jr. He really reminds me a lot of Tyus Jones, right? Like, the way he plays, even like his shot and just like everything. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Tyus Jones or anything like that. Tyus Jones is arguably the best backup point guard in the league. But I think Scottie Pippen could very well sort of mold himself to that. He was showing that he could be a good defensive guard. He gets after it, hard-nosed, does the dirty work, plays tough, gets after it time and time again, like all of those things. Like, I just, I don't know. I wish we knew what the Lakers' plan was, right, with him. Is it just like, he's on the roster or he's on the G League roster until, something happens, right? We end up trading D'Lo, and then we bring him on as our third point guard, right? Because there is a lot of talks about D'Lo being traded. D'Lo waived his no trade clause. So, if they do end up moving him, then, does Scottie Pippen Jr., is that the year that he gets a shot, right? Like, is that the year that the Lakers go, okay, well, now we're going to add you to the roster? But even then, you'd still have, if the plan is to move Austin Reeves to the point guard, right? You'd still have Reeves at point, Shafino as the backup, Scottie Pippen Jr. as your third. Again, I don't think I'm not saying that that's a bad idea, like I mentioned earlier, right? Like, Scottie Pippen Jr., I think, as your third point guard, I don't think is the worst thing in the world. And, if D'Lo misses a game, sure, maybe give Scottie Pippen some minutes. I just, like, I want to see, like, what is he capable of? I wanted to see him in Summer League. I was hoping that we were going to. Because look at the leaps and bounds that Max Christie made. I wanted to see if Scottie Pippen Jr. made similar bounds. I'm not saying he had to be as just, night and day as Max Christie was. Because Max Christie was amazing, right? Like, but I wanted to see if there was any, like, significant growth. Like, did he stand out, right? Like, if you played him, Was he like, oh man, dude, he was a real standout? Like, we didn't really get to see anything. Like, we didn't really get to see him play. Again, I'm not saying that you should have played him over Shafino, but you couldn't have played him sparingly here and there, on any given night, right? Like, you couldn't have, even the last night, right? Like, you couldn't have worked it out to where he got some minutes. But in the same breath, maybe the Lakers didn't because they know he's gotten better. Haha, let's put our tinfoil caps on for a second here, right? So, again, he's not on a two-way. And he had some success in the G League, but, how much do teams just pay a eye on that, right? As opposed to Summer League. Like, all GMs, all organizations, they're all, like, super focused and honed in on Summer League because they're all watching their young talent. They're watching other teams' talent, stuff like that. Is it possible that the Lakers didn't play Scottie Pippen Jr. because they don't want another team to come in and swoop them up, right? If he was in Summer League and he was just balling out, like let's say he played in Summer League, right? And he was like a 22-5-5 guy. You don't think somebody would have been like, maybe we should bring Scottie Pippen Jr. in, right? Maybe we should add him to our roster because, again, he's not on a two-way. Like, the Lakers could lose him tomorrow. So could that have been like I said, the tinfoil hat conspiracy? Is that why the Lakers didn't play him? See, I think we had, through process of elimination, deduced exactly what is going on here. I think we did a fine detective job, if I ask myself. But no, on a serious note, though, like I think that Scottie Pippen Jr., I want to see him get a shot. I'm not saying, again, it doesn't have to be this year, but I'd like to know something, right? Like Rob Pelinka, like, Scottie Pippen Jr., like, he's a big part of our plans. We're pumped for him. Like I said, maybe they let go of Cole Schweider. I mean, Cole Schweider was pretty bad in Summer League. I mean, the dude can shoot the lights out. Absolutely. And I was huge on Cole Schweider. I was rooting for Cole Schweider. I thought he was going to have, like, a real standout Summer League. And he just didn't. He was really disappointing. And so maybe, just maybe, right? Maybe you see him get demoted from the two-way, and then they put Scottie Pippen Jr. in that. That could be a possibility. I don't know. Anyway, done rambling. Just kind of a thought that was in my head that I wanted to get out in video and hear your thoughts and opinions as always. So let me know down in the comments below. What do you think? What do you think's going on with Scottie Pippen Jr.? What do you think the Lakers' plan is? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. Love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments.